Hey, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? This is your boy, in the building, indeed. Yeah, you can tell by my tone I'm a little toned down today because I'm already feeling this conversation. It's already in my spirit. And for the next hour, I need you to tone out everything that's going on around you as much as possible. Because tonight, we're going to have a serious conversation with you fellas. Yeah, we're going there. We're going deep. I'm talking like heart level deep tonight. And we're going to be talking about how to weatherize your life for the storms that not might come, but will come. We all been through them. We all have seen them. Some we have escaped. Some we're still in. Some are coming, but at the end of the day, we want to let y'all fellas know that we're here for you. And here at Confidence Factor Talks, tonight, we're going deep into some heart-level conversations. And before we do that, I need you to do me a huge favor. First of all, I need you to comment #HeartLevel. You know how we do every single day. And by the way, today is our new Tuesday, our new time. So Tuesday nights at 7 p.m., we are here today. And we want to have you talk about, first of all, do #HeartLevel in the comment section right now if you're watching. Also mention your name. Sometimes we don't get to see everyone's name. So mention your name, put in #HeartLevel. Carl, I see you. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in, Mr. Carl. I appreciate you, man. #HeartLevel, everybody, if you get a chance right now, if you're watching, there's a few people on the line seeing us right now. Put in #HeartLevel so that I can see you on the call. The second thing I need you to do for me, if you know a male that is influential in your life or that you have influence on, please share this live with them right now. Please share this live with them right now, because I believe that this particular time, it's going to be insane as it relates to the conversation we're having. Giovanni, I see you. Nikki J, thank you for joining us. Guys, make sure, again, you mention your name, #HeartLevel. We are here to have some heart level conversation that's going to always lead to transformation. And before I introduce my boys to the line, the men that surround me each and every day, the guys that I look to for community, the guys that I look to have not only heart level conversations, but just to be able to talk to sometimes, just how's your day going? You know, we all need that. And so before we do that, I want to just show you what we have in store today. Go ahead and.
I want to encourage somebody out there who's thinking about quitting and giving up. Somebody who has been praying for years for things to turn around. You're thinking about quitting. You're thinking about giving up. You are folding. You are caving in. This is for you.
You're in this storm and you're down on your knees and you're cold and you're weak and you feel like this is the end. You have a choice to either give up or keep going. Give up or get up.
Don't give up. Don't give up. Stay in it. Stay focused.
When you fail, try again and again and again. You just take one step at a time.
It's hard, but it's worth fighting. It's worth believing. It's worth mustering yourself up, standing up inside yourself. It's worth fighting relentlessly, never giving up.
I love the sun, but things don't grow because of the sun. You have to have some rain. And you've got to stop looking at rain in your life as something bad. My greatest moments didn't come from my greatest moments. My greatest moments came from my greatest defeats. Because it was during my defeat that I had to find a way to get back up. You thought for 1 minute that you broke me. You got me twisted. I am not phenomenally skilled, but phenomenally willed. I will not give up. I will not surrender. I will not quit.
Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop running towards your dream.
Stay encouraged. Stay encouraged. Keep your head up. Stick your chest out. Continue to walk with pride. And know if it was easy, everybody would do it. It's not going to be easy, but we have what it takes.
Their rough times are going to come, but they have not come to stay. They have come to pass. Don't say I'm having a bad day. Say I'm having a character building day.
Don't look at night as darkness. Look at night as a new beginning.
Man, that video gets me every time, guys. It gets me every time. And, you know, in the times that we're in, I'm blessed to say I have brothers that surround me, that have my perfect intention at hand, that pray for me, that, you know, encourage me. And one of those brothers is all the way from Jacksonville. My man, Mr. Bobby B in the building. What's going on, brother? Oh, you're on mute.
Oh, man,
you're on
ready
mute.
for this.
You're
Ready for this heart level conversation, brother. I'm excited, man.
Are you feeling it? Like, I'm feeling it right now, man.
I live this thing, man. I live this. Man.
Yeah.
And this is a real conversation. I'm excited for the people joining tonight. I think we have something in store. We're gonna have a conversation, right? And that's what it's all about, man. So I'm happy to be here.
That's where it starts. That's where it starts. Sometimes we're afraid of doing that, fellas, but we want to take, you know, the bull by the horn, and we want to set the standard that it's okay to have conversations. It's okay to talk about it. It's okay to vent to someone. It's okay to let them know what you got going on in your heart. And so there's no better person that I could think of when I've brought him things, when we've talked about things, when we've had conversations. And the professor always had something to share with me, man. Something that was empowering, something that was impactful, something that was character building, never breaking down, but always lifting up. My man from Orlando, Mr. Darren Hill in the building.
What's going on, champions? What's going on?
What's going on? What's going on? Man?
You know, this is it right here. This is a moment in time that we get to express ourselves into so many people that are listening. So first of all, I want to honor each one of you for being here today, for joining us in this Confidence Factor Talks, and just being here in this space of love, of heart level sharing that we're going to be doing today. It's all about heart level conversations that lead to transformation. And if you've been joining us, you know, the past weeks, we thank you, we honor you for being here and in sharing our message, because we are on a mission to impact millions and millions of men, you know, who want to be part of a community, want to be part of a conversation, who've been feeling alone, they've been feeling isolated, and they feel like they don't matter. And so we're here to be a stand, to be a space, to create a platform for those men. So thank you so much. And for the women who are listening, of course, please share this platform with the men in your life, your uncles, your cousins, your brothers, your husbands. We love you and appreciate your support. So fellas, what's going on, man?
Man, I'm happy to be here, guys. I'm excited to be in the building. You know, this moment right here reminds me when we first got together, guys, and we first started talking, and we went deep. I mean, we talked about some stuff, guys. Yeah. And just a few days ago, I got a reminder that it was about a year ago that we did that.
Yeah.
And from that day on, things have never been the same.
We got naked.
We got naked.
We got naked.
Man. We got naked, man. And things have never been the same, man. It's never been the same.
So you know, a lot of people are probably wondering, what does naked really mean? Right? and we're going to get into that in a moment, because it's a really important conversation when you are, you know, having and connecting with other individuals and really trying to build strong bonds and relationships with people, and it's so essential. And we're going to talk about that. But fellas, before we jump into today's conversation, man, let's talk about our book. I mean, I think it's something we haven't talked about a lot. We want to share with the listeners about our book, man. So what do we have? What do we have?
Yes. 7. We got 7. 7 steps to unstoppable confidence.
Yeah.
Man, 7 steps to unstoppable confidence. And, shout out to my man Lamont, who put this amazing montage together to talk about our book. So before we dive into it just a little bit, to talk about the chapters of the book and what you can look forward to, check this out.
What is confidence? Confidence can be defined as an authentic feeling and emotion that helps you confront challenges head on. Though none of us are born completely confident, we all have traces of it, but it must be developed in order to become a great skill. In this book, 3 young successful entrepreneurs share their authentic stories and the steps that anyone can use to begin to develop their confidence factor. The Confidence Factor for Men presents 7 steps to unstoppable confidence. Order your copy today.
Woo!
That's exciting.
I like that.
That's exciting.
That's powerful right there. And it's no funny you said, you talked about, getting together, Rudy, because, when we got together and really hashed out this concept for confidence factor, that was a dream. That was the desire of us to be able to have this particular book, right? Yeah. And we wanted to have this particular book because we wanted to have additional resources where we can add value to our audience. And so we're excited that we actually not only created a vision, but we were able to manifest that vision by putting in the work and putting the time and making that vision become a reality. So we appreciate you guys supporting us. You can certainly go to Amazon and check out that book. It's all about our journey from going from places, deep, dark places in our own life, and the process that we went through to be able to unleash our confidence factor. And we want to share those principles, some of the steps and our stories with you guys. So definitely check it out. It's a Kindle version on Amazon. And I think that's the URL that just came up, right? That's the URL. Yep. It's 7 steps. So it's 7steps.confidencefactor.com. So it's 7steps.confidencefactor.com. So let's type that in. Definitely, I would appreciate you guys' support. Buy multiple copies and share it with as many men in your life that that's going through transition. We're always going through transition, right? And fellas, of course, that's what we're here to talk about. First of all, like there is a big transition that's happening right now, and so tell me how are you guys feeling about what we're dealing with right now? How are men dealing with this transition? And I think this is an important conversation for us to have because so many people are feeling lost in this particular moment. Talk to me.
For me, this transition has been, definitely something that has allowed me to reflect, but also to create. It's almost like you get to a point where, you're driving towards a destination and the map says, this is the way you're supposed to go, right? And then you get to the point where you're supposed to go straight, and then there's barricade there because they're under construction. But the Google Map boy, the Apple boy never got updated. So you like, wait a minute, this is the way I'm supposed to be going. What's the problem? Like, how am I supposed to deal with this now? Cause I got no other direction, no other way to go but through, and it's under construction. And so for me, it's been a journey because now I'm finding myself at a place where I have to be under construction until this path opens up for me to see clearly where I need to go as it relates to business, as it relates to the family dynamics and all these things. But the good news is this: I got community, baby. The good news is this: I got God on my side. The good news is I got resources. And I think it's because of these resources that along the journey that I've been blessed to create, it's making it a lot easier for me. I can pick up the phone and call somebody. I can research something. I can read a book. I can go and dive into, how do I cope with the construction, boy, while I wait for the new for the new update to apply, so I can know where I'm going.
Yeah, and let's talk about this construction for a minute. Let's have a real heart level, get down to the gritty conversation about this construction that you talk about, because we realize that we're in a climate and an environment right now, and it's affecting people on so many different levels.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, anxiety is at an all-time high, stress is at an all-time high, the uncertainty is at an all-time high, and there's a way in which, you know, we as men deal with it, right? There's a way in which that we deal with it, and you know, that whole thing of what we call the facade comes to mind, right?
Yeah.
With all of the negativity, with all of the things happening, with people losing the jobs, with people uncertain about the future, there's a way in which people are showing up or not showing up. Yeah. And so let's talk about this construction a little bit, you know, that you talk about, Woody. And Bobby, maybe you can jump in here and let's lay this foundation for really what people are dealing with. Because we've all dealt with this at some point in our own life. We've all dealt with having to, you know, kind of go through life and then feeling like, holy crap, you know, I'm faced with a situation that I never thought I would have to deal with. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how to move forward. I don't know who to reach out to. I don't know who to connect with. I don't feel as though like anybody can relate to my situation. Mm-hmm. You know, and these are the real conversations people are having right now because they feel alone. So Bobby, talk to me, like, you know, as we launch into this real honest conversation about what a lot of men are dealing with, entrepreneur-minded men are dealing with right now, as we turn into the facade. What's your thoughts on that, man?
Yeah, man, it's real, man. I think back 2008, right? Just losing everything. I lost my all the properties I had. I lost my business. I lost my my relationship for my spirituality, like my religious background. I had an institution and a support system. I lost all of that. And, I found myself at home alone, still trying to cope and trying to keep up with, you think about it so much, as I say in the book, the rug got pulled from up under me. And now you're trying to find your balance, right? You still gotta be a husband. You still gotta be a father. You still gotta pay the bills. You still gotta put food on the table. And you're in a situation where something you didn't even plan is now upon you. Like, what do you do, right? And so, the facade comes in because you want to give the illusion that everything is still okay, right? Everything is normal. Everything is fine, because then, it comes to what will people think? What will people say? How, we were talking, he says, in business, how's this going to impact my business? If people know that, I'm wobbly and shaky, how's that going to impact my business? You're going to sign the contract with me knowing that, I don't know about that brother, he got some stuff going on, right? And so that's, as men, we tend to do that. And then you lose the trust, with your wife, right? And I'm talking from a man's standpoint. I'm a man, right? So from a man's standpoint, your wife is looking for you to lead. Your kids are looking for you to lead the charge, but you don't know what the hell's going on, right? You didn't plan for this. This is like a surprise. So we tend to put on that facade, like everything is okay, because we don't want to have another persecution. We don't want another issue on the plate. We don't want people add fuel to the fire, so to speak. So we try to act like, nah, I'm good. I'm straight. And that's the facade we run. And sometimes, people know, your family knows, there's some close friends that know, that's what you're dealing with. And so when we talk about that facade, that's, I think is even as entrepreneurs, man, you don't want to look unstable as an entrepreneur, right? Because then the money situation gets worse, right? Then the eating gets worse. Then your wife got the eyeballs. Yo, what's happening? What you doing? Right? Then that gets worse if that's how your household runs, right? Because a lot of households still run like that. So these are some of the things that men are dealing with, and they're still dealing with that stuff right now.
Yeah, and it's certainly compounded, like I said, in these times because of so much of the information that we've been fed. And so many things that are negatively being impacted in our lives and our business right now. And it's so funny you talked about that, Bobby, because I remember, when I was going through my transition, when I just lost my company, the biggest thing that I was like so focused on is what people are going to think, right? And, worrying about what people are going to think has been one of the areas of my life that I've had to constantly peel away. Like, because for me, you know, the need for validation, the need to have to be affirmed by other people has always been there and present, you know, in my life, in my relationships with my dad, and I've had to deal with that stuff. And so I know that a lot of men deal with that. And so what ends up happening is that you tend to project, right? We tend to project like everything, like you said, is okay. You tend to project that, you know, I don't need any advice. I don't need any help, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything is perfect in my life when it's not. When really and truly you feel so insecure, you feel so down, you feel like uncertain, you feel like stressed out, you feel like overwhelmed, like you feel like there's a boulder on top of your back, and you get this idea that you're the only one going through this.
Oh yeah.
You
That's
know what I'm
it
saying?
right there. That's it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You feel like I'm the only one, because you're so focused on yourself and so focused on your situation that you forget that, as Rudy said, that life is always under construction, that the journey of life comes with and will require you to go through obstacles and failures and making mistakes so that you can be and develop to become the version of yourself that you're supposed to become. But you're not thinking about that, right? You're dealing with what's today. So much stress and overwhelm puts us in what we call a survival mode, right? You're not thinking about how I can anymore. You're thinking about, oh my God, look at everything that's wrong.
Yeah.
And so listen, if you're watching right now and you're faced with that circumstance and you're faced with that situation, you know, I'm here to tell you that, you know, all it takes is just a little bit of a shift. All it takes is a little bit of, you know, getting the right information, being in the right community to make that little bit of a shift so that you can start to get to a breakthrough in your life where you're not feeling like that anymore. You know, fellas, as you know, we've been talking for a while, and I have a lot of people around my life who are dealing with a lot of things, and you'd be surprised when you look at the external aspects of their life. Everything looks good. You know, you guys were with me recently where I had to, you know, stop what I was doing, not even be on the show because I had to go on, you know, speak to someone. I mean, I won't mention a name, but I had to go and talk to this particular person to really help to talk them down because they were dealing with so much anxiety and stress. And so we know that this is what a lot of us are dealing with. And so we need to have this kind of conversation and get real about where people are right now in their life, because quite frankly, I know how important it is by us sharing how that can save somebody's life, how that can, you know, start the process of transformation from them, you know, feeling alone, feeling like they don't matter, feeling isolated, feel like they're the only ones that's going through this heartache right now. You know what I'm saying? And so that's so critical. So if you're joining us tonight, I just want to acknowledge a couple of people who's on. I see Rick Singh is on. I want to acknowledge John English. Kenyetta is on. Selena, Jerry, Alam is here with us. I want to acknowledge you guys. And if you're coming on, but this is a real conversation that we want to have, because we realize so many people are dealing with all these inner states of being, inner states of feelings, these emotions of stress, anxiety, frustration, overwhelm. And we don't have a forum to express these things. And the more that we keep it in, the more that affects us in terms of our performance, our motivation, our health, right? And ultimately, it doesn't allow us to be able to live in our purpose. So I want you guys to just, you know, if you're coming on, let us know where you're coming in from. I see Willie Carey is here. Thanks for joining us, Will. Isabella. And we want you guys to share this conversation. We're having a real honest conversation with everyone. So I see the Javon Jones says, "What's up, gentlemen? What's going on, Javon?"
Let us know. You know, let us look, man. You know, look. Here's the bottom line. We coming on here telling y'all our personal business. You know, like we as men. Look, we saying, look, we want to take off the mask, not put on a facade. We taking an hour out of our night to come and share, because we like, look, we've been there. We've experienced it. If you know what we're talking about, type it in the chat. Let us know we're not by ourselves and we're not bugging out. You know what I mean? Yeah. If the role was flipped, you'd be like, yo, you know, type something in the chat. Let us know if you've been there, if you've experienced it. If you know someone that's been there, you know, let us know that we on cue so we can keep pushing forward with this thing.
Yeah. And you know, the interesting thing about the facade is that it's kind of like when you're a kid and you tell a lie, and then you got to build upon the lie, and then the more you got to keep that lie going, the more you put stuff on it, and at some point you get to a point where you don't even know where it began. You know, it's just completely off. And that's the thing with the facade. It's just you start this one place and then it leads to another place and then it leads to another place and to another place. And you got to just continue to keep that going to the point where you don't even recognize yourself anymore.
Yeah.
You know, you don't even recognize yourself anymore. And so now when that clicks in your mind, the next thing you're like, man, like if I really tell them what's going on, they might just reject me.
Yeah.
They might just like reject. They might just like, man, I don't know about this guy. You know, because why? Because all they've seen is your avatar. They've seen it. And it's funny because everybody's putting on their avatar, their best foot forward. You know, everybody's putting on that, you know, that really nice, crisp look, you know, that crisp suit, that crisp car, you know, the crisp bills, and not knowing behind the avatar of everything that's going on because we're afraid of rejection.
Yeah.
You know, that's huge.
That is what you just said about the rejection is key. Because rejection is painful. It's painful. And oftentimes we are projecting that what people want to see is a perfect aspect of ourselves. When in reality, everybody is dealing with something, right? There's no perfect person. And in fact, you know, in my marketing with my clients, one of the things I tell my clients is that ultimately more people will connect with you through your failures than your successes, right? So if you always, you know, just only show aspects of yourself where you're successful, then people feel a disconnection from you. They feel that they can't relate to you. And it's so funny. I've had to even deal with this in my own life because I noticed that in some cases that there is a lack of relatability when I don't share myself wholly. When I don't really bring my full self to the table, people don't connect with me because people want to know that, hey, they're not looking to connect with perfect people. They want to know that, hey, that other people are dealing with the same thing they're dealing with as well. And that's one of the reasons why we're having this conversation, because all of us are dealing with it. You know, even though we are here on this forum right now sharing, you know, we still have to go through a process to keep guard of our own mind, to be able to minimize the stress. I mean, guys, I don't know about you, but, you know, sometimes when you're scrolling through social media, you know, listen to some of the negative stuff, it affects you.
Yeah.
that stuff affects me, and I have to, you know, pull myself away from it to guard myself from that stuff, you know. So, you know, it's so critical to understand that you know, rejection is the thing that you're projecting. You're projecting that you're going to get rejected if you share authentically, but that's actually not true. People are truly looking for you to share authentically so you can relate. I always say that relate is the root of relationship. To have a relationship, you got to build relatability. Relatability comes to, you know, knowing that you go through struggles, knowing that you have ups and downs, knowing that the journey of life is about having obstacles and making mistakes and things not going right in your life. That's part of the process. It's not perfection. You know, relatability is so key. How y'all feel about that?
Yeah.
No, you hit the nail on the head, brother. Because look, it's funny because, you know, again, we try to put the facade up and we worry about the rejection. But here's the truth, right? When you look at social media, all this stuff is going on, right? You got the stuff with the police going on. You got Black Lives Matter going on. You got all these different things going on. But yet everybody got these big, rosy, beautiful pictures and a big facade. Yeah. So who's going through it? It's just 10 of us? It's just the 10 of us. That's it. The 8 billion people is just 10 of us going through. Come on, man. Yeah. We know what's happening. But again, it's and I'm speaking to the men. You know, we feel the need that we think that strength means don't be vulnerable. Don't show nobody no weakness. I'm not saying go out and tell everybody your business. There's only a few people, you know, that certain type of people can put their business out there and are like, whatever. I mean, what you gonna do? What you gonna do to me? This happened to me. This happened to me. What you gonna do? Nothing. Right. But then there's a group of people you can share your stuff with. So that fear of rejection is definitely real. Right. But we all experience things. We all experience us. And everybody go through a storm. But you get through, if nobody gets out of this life alive. Right. Yep. So if you think you're going to get out of this life alive, you got another thing coming. I don't know what you want to put on that thing, Rudy.
Yeah. No, man. You know, I remember there was a time in my life, you know, I had a heart level conversation with someone, and you know, it came to pass that that the issue I was dealing with was the fear of being rejected. You know, it's just like that movie from what's your boy, the Yes Man. You know, like everything. You know, he had to say yes to everything. I was that guy. You know, I was that guy that felt that, you know, if I didn't say yes, and I'd be rejected, I wouldn't be part of the crew. I wouldn't be part of, you know, the entourage, if you will. Or, you know, I'd make somebody feel a certain way, or somebody would look at me a certain way if I didn't say, you know, if I didn't say what was on my mind, if I didn't speak my truth, if I didn't speak, you know, the things that I stood upon, the foundations that I stood upon. And it took me a while to realize that, until somebody pointed it out, and then somebody else pointed it out. I was like, "Whoa, okay, there must be something to that, right?"
Wow.
because for me, it wasn't about, oh well, you know, maybe this person might say this. It wasn't really about worrying about what people might say, more than it was being concerned about how they may view me. You know, how they may view me. And that was the fear of rejection. That was the rejection part that I was dealing with. Like, man, if they don't view me this certain way, they might reject the aspect of who I am. They might reject my identity, is what I thought. Until I got deep into it, and I started really understanding the root of it all, and understanding, why did I feel that way? Why was this story in my head, right? And as I started to unravel and I started to peel the layers away, I realized the reason why I was doing that is because of my father. Because I felt that if I didn't show up a certain way for other people, then they would feel the same way I felt, because I felt rejection from my father.
Damn, that's deep, bro.
Yeah.
Oh. You know, and Rudy, thanks for sharing that, man. Thanks for being so raw and authentic with that, because oftentimes the things that we're dealing with at 30 and 40 is unresolved issues from when we were kids.
Yes.
Unresolved relationships or impacts, or whether it be criticisms, or, you know, feeling of abandonment, or issues that we deal with a kid, or not even having a father in your own life. It's so interesting because a lot of people, you know, I did a video the other day with my dad. You know, he came to celebrate my 42nd birthday, and a lot of people look at it and think, "Oh man, you guys must have always had a perfect relationship. Oh my God," you know. And the reality is, I created a story many years ago when I was young. My dad said something about me not, you know, doing something in class or being like the other kids, and I created a story that I wasn't very smart. I wasn't good enough, and that story literally drove every aspect of my life. And it clouded everything that I would allow myself to do and what I did do in my life. And so I went through life doing this whole compensation and manipulation, kind of like what you were talking about, Rudy, is this whole compensation that you go through living your life because of these unresolved stories or meetings or traumas that you give. And I like what Javon said. Javon said, it took me years to realize its strength in vulnerability, right? So when we go through these moments when we're younger, and when we try, one of the compensations is to hide it, because what does society teach us as men? It says, well, don't share, don't show any weakness, don't show vulnerability, that you're going to be like a female if you do that. That's what we kind of told them and taught that. Or it's kind of, even if we're not told that, you see the collective agreement around that whole behavior, right? And Javon, I appreciate you saying that. Javon Jones says that it took him years to realize his strength and vulnerability. It is true. It's not only strength, but it allows you to let go of all of that weight. When you have so much stuff internally inside of you, you know, it is weight that's drawing on you all the time. It's a huge cost and impact to your, like I said, your motivation, your health, everything, man. Everything.
And we tend to stay guarded. We tend to stay guarded. I was just talking to somebody earlier, and they were telling me how that you know, and we shared this over the weekend too. You know, sometimes I get with people, and you know, they let it out because they, you know, I asked somebody today, you know, they always remind me. They said, "Man, when I get around you, man, like I had a chance to like cry," and you know, and I said, "Why do you keep telling me that?" They said, "Because you're like, sometimes I feel unsafe with people, right? I feel unsafe." They say, I have to feel like I have to be guarded because I don't know what the person's gonna say or do.
Yeah.
Right. And then it said, you know, when I'm talking to you, I feel it's intimate. There's a safety there. I can let my hair down and it's okay. And I'm like, look, you the only reason why you could do that is because I don't judge. And I don't judge because I'm a great person. I judge because I got so many lumps on the head. And I realized, hey, life gonna happen to anybody and everybody. So if you tell me nothing's going on, I don't even think you're normal, right? Or I say, man, you got a big one around the corner.
Yeah.
you doing that good, you got the major lump coming, right? Because nobody gets out of this thing alive, man. And we tend to stay guarded. And so what we, like you say, we layer it and layer it and layer it until inside you got nothing but a little boy that really just wants to cry and just throw a little tantrum, and then it would be over.
Yep.
You won't even cry and throw the tantrum. You carrying around. My homeboy always says, only a fool is gonna trip on what's behind him. Every time I think of it, I'm like, man, that's so profound. But some people are, they're carrying around this luggage because they're afraid. If I open up this suitcase and I show you what I'm dealing with, you're gonna be like, oh, so we guard it. We zip up the suitcase, we lock it down, we put it in a plastic bag, we put a zip tie on it with a lock, and we just carry it around.
Yeah.
And so finally, when you get a chance to get around some people, you're like, damn, I don't got to carry this. You're like, dude, why the hell are you carrying that in the first place? Put that thing down. So we tend to be guarded because, again, we don't know what's going to be the impact in my business. What's going to be the impact in my relationship? How are you going to view me, or are you going to judge me?
Yeah. And Javon says he's coming in from New Jersey. So thanks for being here from Jersey. Appreciate you, Javon. And if you're listening, of course, let us know where you're coming in from, where you're tuning in from. We want to hear from you, and let us know if you can relate to this conversation. Like if there's any aspect of your own life where you can relate to anything that Bobby or Rudy or myself has shared, because you may be asking, well, why are we having this conversation? Why are we having this soft conversation? It's not even about that. It's we recognize that so many people like ourselves go through transformation in these moments, right? We go through these transitional moments, and oftentimes if you don't have the right conversation, if you're not in the right conversation, if you don't have the right book or the right quote or something, that can literally derail your life. That can keep you paralyzed for so long that the goals and the dreams that you're trying to accomplish, the things that you're meant to be able to manifest in your own life, those things will take much longer. And so they will. And so we saw it fit to take on the responsibility to have real conversations that oftentimes we don't have, and oftentimes people want to have, but they're too afraid to have because of the rejection, right? So if you're joining us, let us know where you're coming from. We are Confidence Factor. We are a platform for men. If you're a lady, woman, feel free to share this with the men in your life. We want you to be here with us, listening to this conversation, give us some support on what we're saying. But share this message with those men in your life, because we want to grow this platform huge. We want to make a significant impact and help guys to develop their confidence factor, which is what we call it, right?
And that's the thing, Darren. You hit the nail on the head. We don't want to just grow this large just to grow it large. We want to grow this thing large because we actually want to help people, like what Darren is sharing. People are feeling alone. They're feeling alone. And when you feel alone, man, that causes you to retreat. We having this conversation. There's a family that I know. Like I didn't talk. I didn't gone through so many things, brothers, that I look forward to the time when I'm on the phone or talking to somebody or standing in front of someone who feel like they want to give up and can't make it through. Because and if they feel like that, I'm privileged to say I'm glad I'm the person standing in front of them, because I know I can relate. I'm not going to judge. You can let your hair down. You can cry. You can spit, fight, throw a tantrum. I don't care, because I know what it feels like. We're having a part of this conversation is I have a family that just had a young man commit suicide. He just committed suicide because he couldn't handle it. And I'm thinking to myself, damn, I wish I could have got in front of this brother before it went down. This just happened like 4 or 5 days ago, and somebody told me about it. I'm saying to myself, damn, I'm like, we should have done some more lives. We got to get out here and do something, and we got to do more, and we got to do it quickly. We're here because there are brothers around us. The brothers of Confidence Factor are supporting us right now. There are women in our lives that's like, man, can you I wish my husband had somebody to talk to, because he always say he don't have no friends.
Yeah.
He's always by himself. He always have his head down, just working, trying to make things happen, you know, and he feels like he's by himself. And I'm thinking to myself, damn, you know, this is why we're doing what we're doing. This is why we, you know, Darian, you're going to put the context on this, but this is why we get naked, telling you what we went through, how we went through it. And this is why we becoming vulnerable. Like the brother said, Javon said, there's strength in this thing here. There's power in this thing. And we found it out through Confidence Factor, when we get together in our group on a weekly meeting and we start talking to one another, and brothers start figuring out, you going through, that's it. Wow. I said, well, how you deal with, we're not alone. You're not alone. That's what we want you to understand. You're not alone. And this is what this forum is for. So we can have a real conversation. Not all the pretty pictures, not all of the presentations with the clickers and the slides and everything's perfect. Nah, man, we want to be real, authentic, down to earth, in your face. This is what it is. Darren, you got to put some context on the naked. I like to push buttons and you frame it up.
No. But so one of the things, fellas, as you guys know, I call this aspects to ourselves, and I call it inner jerk, right? My inner jerk will say, well, you know, but I don't know, man. I don't know if I should really share. I don't know if this is really for me. You know, I'm not really sure if, you know, I can really, what is this going to mean for my life? I don't really know. So it is going to be a bit scary. When you're feeling alone, you're in a comfort zone, and the brain always loves what's familiar and hate what's unfamiliar. So if right now you're going through a period where you're feeling alone, that's gonna feel real comfortable for you. And you may have aspects to yourself where it says, well, I don't know if I want to reach out, or you may lack the motivation to even reach out or want to connect, or you feel like it wouldn't really matter if you reached out. Like, you know, you may feel in that state right now. And I want to speak to that, because I know what that feels like. I know what that feels like when you're by yourself in your office, it's just you, and you're having these conversations around how bad things are. Oh, you're the only one that's dealing with this stuff. When you're looking at social media and you're thinking, oh my gosh, everybody else's life looks so perfect. Oh, look at this guy. You know what I mean? His life is wonderful. You know, why does my life suck? You know, these are the real honest conversations we will have. And the thing is that you got to recognize that, as Bobby said, that you're not the only one that's having these conversations. These conversations will be there. But if you just take one step to reach out and connect with us, if you reach out and connect and reach out to even if not us, somebody who you can have a conversation with, who you can trust, to be able to share what you're dealing with, just being able to express that, to share that, will start to unload or offload some of that things that you're feeling, you know. And so we have a couple of things going on. I want to jump in and kind of, you know, share some things that we have going on. Number one, of course, we have our community Confidence Factor. You can go over to Confidence Factor on Facebook and like our Facebook page. But we have something that's really special coming up, which is our 7-day Unleash Your Riches Challenge. I just want to take a few minutes to mention that, because it's so critical to understand that when you're feeling a certain way right now, whether you're having great success in the business or not, and you're feeling a certain way, you're feeling like, you know what, you know, things are not going that well, or if things are going well, but you feel like, you know what, I need to have a space and a community where I can express myself. I can connect with other people. I don't know, you know, how to move past what I'm dealing with right now. You know, I want to invite you to really join us in our free 7-day challenge. It's called Unleash Your Riches. And the real goal of this challenge is to help people to shift. It's to make one small little shift in your mindset, in your perspective, that means everything. It means everything. You know, one of my favorite quotes comes from Wayne Dyer, and he says, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change. Let me say that again. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change. So one little shift, one little environment shift can make a whole difference in your life. So I'm going to encourage you to do that. So here's what you're going to do. You want to go to challenge.confidencefactor.com. That's challenge, www.confidencefactor.com and go ahead and register for a challenge. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time. As men, we're going to get together and put together some daily steps of things that's going to help you to shift. And you may be thinking, well, David, I don't see how that's going to be meaningful. I mean, I've tried things in the past. I've done this in the past or whatever. Or I don't think that, doing this will make a difference to me. Listen, we've had guys who have said that. And once they joined our group, it was a game changer. Rudy, tell us about, I think there was a gentleman, I won't even say his name, but I also say his first name, Chris, who came to one of our sessions. What did he say when he first got there?
Man, when he got in that session, man, he was blown away by the fact that we were willing to be so open and transparent in the conversation, to the point where he then became transparent and open in the conversation that that he had to have about, where his family and things were happening in his life. And even to this day, he talks about that experience. He talks about wanting to have that community again. And this is someone who travels the world, who does so many different things, in terms of, his life. And to hear him say that, for me, was mind blowing, because, we created this space, not because we wanted to hear everybody's stories in business, but because we realized ourselves, we wanted to have that space. We wanted to have that community for ourselves. And so this gentleman just came and he poured his heart out, and we surrounded him, and we was like, man, we hear you. We're here for you. We see you. We acknowledge you. We don't condemn you for what you're going through. We don't say, oh man, look at this guy. He's a loser, or like whatever. Like we're looking at him and saying, man, how can we support you? Because we realize if we can support you, if we can girdle ourselves around you, not only we're helping you, but we're helping your family and potentially a generation to come. I'm going to share a quick thing that I saw earlier. I was watching a web series, and there was a guy there who was talking about, it was Roger Goodell. And he was talking about the movement that's happening around Black Lives Matter, and having conversation with all these guys. And the show's host brought a picture of his father, who was walking with Coretta Scott King. And the story behind it is that Coretta Scott King said she wouldn't walk without this, his father, in the march, because she loved the fact that his father stood for whatever he stood for at that particular time. But here's the point. That picture hangs in Roger Goodell's wall, and they tell their children's about this story, and they tell their children's children about this story. This man built a legacy for himself and has potentially changed the trajectory of his family because of one simple step or one simple thing that he did, that he stood for what he believed in. And that's what we hear. That's what we're here, man. That's what we're here. I want to show them this challenge thing, man. I want them to get it into their spirit of what we're talking about. Yes, indeed.
That was hot. That was hot.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I want to go sign up right now in this challenge, man. Like, for real. So what can they expect, guys? What can they expect being part of this challenge? I want to break it down for them.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'll let Bobby jump in here, but let me just set some expectations, because I want to emphasize something you said that's so critical and so important. A lot of times when you have these conversations, people automatically assume, well, this is just only for people who are things are going wrong in their life. Okay? Let's address that, because more times than not, this type of community and this type of environment are for people who are busy people who are up to something, people who have stuff going on in life, right? Because the reality is, as Rudy mentioned, you said something, Rudy, I don't know if you picked this up, but I picked it up. You said you were talking about this guy who said that he loved the community, and you were saying to yourself, well, this guy is traveling the world. He's doing all this amazing stuff. Like, you wouldn't expect that he would really appreciate the community. But it's really people who are up to things in their life, are doing things that want to have an environment that continues to support them in pushing them to move forward. Because we're all going to have down moments. We're all going to have feelings of self-doubt, of, hey, did I do it right? Have feelings of fear. Those stuff will never go away. What you want to have is you want to create a winning environment. You want to create a winning environment. You want to have people who's going to continuously push you towards pursuing the things that you say you want. And in the moments when you feel down, in the moments when you feel knocked out, you want somebody to be over you, to put your hand on and say, get up, champion, you got this. You can keep pushing forward. How many times did I call Bobby? How many times did I call Rudy when I'm feeling down and out? And those fellas had to speak words into me to help to unleash that inner champion. This is what we're talking about. We're all up to doing big things, but we all still require, people around us to continue to push and feed us with knowledge. And that's right. Javon says you benefit from this more when things are going right for you. Absolutely. I love that. You benefit more when things are going right for you, because the journey of life comes with its ups and downs. The journey of life is about, failing towards success. So you're going to need to keep that enthusiasm on the journey. So Bobby, talk to us. Tell us about the challenge and give us some of your thoughts on that.
Man, just my thoughts are it's very simple. Is that, like you said, Darren, you hit the nail on the head. It's not just about things when things are going wrong, right? The benefits, before I used to look at the challenges, I was like, a little challenge, I don't want, but now I'm starting to learn, even through the confidence factor, it's about networking. Rudy's the master of that. He's the connection catalyst. Just being around Rudy, man, my sphere has increased. Business has increased. You got to think about it. People want to do people that they like, know, and trust. You want to do more business, get around some men that's doing business. Get around men that are entrepreneurs. Get around some men that have seen some failures, got some victories, and are preparing for more storms in their life. And when you do that, you get, hints, tips, tricks, techniques. It says success leaves clues. If you're in a storm, you're either in a storm, you just came from a storm, or you're going to whatever, all that, right? But the point remains is that, you're around people that you can be doing business with. Think about that. That's a whole different level. Why do you think these fraternities and, the military people, say, hey, I know that guy from college. We were the same fraternity. He gonna buy the house from him first. Not you. So the guy that's out there alone by himself in the wilderness, you the one liable to get eaten up. You say, well, how you know that, B? I was the dude that I almost lost a leg, being out there by myself. I'm gonna keep it real. I took more lumps on the head because I was like, I don't need friends. I'll do this by myself, but then, a lion gets wounded, a lion get hurt. And now you're like, man, I wish I had another lion to help me get back on my feet. And so for me, I'm gonna tell you, man, I and I'm gonna keep it real. You already know, my filters. I'm still working on the filter, but I'm gonna keep it raw and keep it real with them. Like I was a wounded lion not too long ago. Suffering mad damage and mad lumps on the head, and it was because of brothers like you that a lion got back on his feet and turned back into not just a regular lion, but a fire lion. And the time. I was listening to a webinar the other day, and I'm about to hire these people as one of my mentors. And what they said, something that struck. They said, "We want you to get with us because we want to help you collapse time." I was like, "Dang, that's what they mean by collapse time." Basically, your downtime is not a long time. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? Rudy got a couple of chickens. Darren got a couple of chickens. I got no chickens. You know what I mean? Both of the brothers hand me a chicken. I got 2 chickens as opposed to going out there trying to get 1 chicken by myself hurt. Come on, man. This is very simple. But when you're out there by yourself, the logic and the reason seems to escape you or elude you. Right. And I was one of those people. I don't need friends. I don't need people. And I'm telling you, you guys, being around you guys have helped me collapse time. I mean, I've had some hard spots over the past couple of years, and you brothers were right there to help pick me up. Nah, bro, do it like this. Nah, bro, try like this. Man, half the time when I can't figure something out, hey, Rudy, look, man, Rudy said, hey, I got a guy. I'm like, look, I ain't even got to think. And then Darren, I'm like, hey, Darren, man, I'm thinking about this right. Oh, Darren said, "Oh man, that's easy, man." One of my favorite quotes is, "You start framing stuff up." And I'm like, man, I'm glad I don't gotta think of all this by myself. This is easy, bro. This is easy, brother. Getting around the right community, I don't feel alone anymore, bro. I don't feel alone, and it's easier. If something ain't right, I got one or two brothers. I got one brother that's gonna frame it up for me, and I got another brother who's gonna tell me, "Hey, I got a guy," and that's this. And that's where we want you guys to be, man. Like, this is a community. We keep it real. It ain't always gonna be, sunshine and rainbows. But one thing about it, one thing for sure, two things for certain, you ain't gonna be by yourself, and it's harder to get eat when you in the pack. That's what I'm gonna tell you.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. So Mr. Producer, go ahead and put up that link again for the challenge for us, if you don't mind. I want to make sure that everybody's seeing that.
Yeah.
He's gonna pull it up. Good. So it's gonna be challenge.confidencefactor.com. So we want you guys to just type that in. Like I said, join the challenge. It's going to be fun. And as Bobby just expressed, it's going to be an environment that helps you to thrive, right? Because so many people today are just feeling in a state of survival. Survival meaning you're in fear, you're in anxiety, you're stressed, you're feeling overwhelmed. No matter if things are going great for you externally, internally, you just feel like, you know what, I don't have it all together. Right. So we want to help you to go from just surviving in that survival mode to thriving, to being in a state where you feel as though, you know what, it doesn't matter what's happening externally in my life.
The storms.
No matter what storms are coming, no matter, we're in Florida right now. We know we're in the hurricane season.
Yeah.
No matter the storms that's coming, we are prepared. We got our water.
Yeah.
We got our canned goods. We don't fill up our car. Right? We don't, as we say in the Caribbean, batten down. We don't batten down. And that's what a community does for you. The community helps you to get the right type of resources and the tools and information and things like that, so that you can be ready to handle the storms and thrive in the storms. So go to challenge.confidencefactor.com. Rudy, go ahead, Trey.
Hey, D, you know what I love? It's funny, I'm going to say this, right? You know what I love about a storm? Think about this the next time we got some storm coming. You see all the communities start to get together. Do you need help with your shutters? Do you need light? Do you need this? Do you need that? Do you need food? Do you need shelter? Do you want to come to my house? I had a storm where I had 3 people at my house with their cats, you know what I'm saying, through a whole weekend, because I didn't want them to spend the time at their house because I knew that their house wasn't stable enough. But that's what storms do. They bring people together. They bring community together. It's not meant for you to go through it alone. And so next week, we're going to talk about, once we figure out that you don't have to go through this alone. Once we figure it out, you don't have to put up the facade. You don't have to fear rejection. You don't have to feel alone in this process. Next week, tune in, and we're going to talk about forgiving yourself. We're going to talk about focusing on what you can do and during the storms in your life. We're going to talk about finding purpose, during these storms. And eventually we're going to talk about freedom when the storm's gone, when the sunshine comes back, when everything is all said and done and you still standing. That's what we're going to talk about next week, man. So make sure you guys join us Tuesday, new times, Tuesday at 7 p.m. to have Confident Factor Talks, where we have heart-level conversations that lead to transformation.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you joining us. We'll see you guys on Tuesday, 7 p.m. No matter what you do, always keep it heart level.
Heart level. Love you guys. We'll see you soon.
Love you guys. All right, guys.